What's going on, everybody? Shady's on Broadway. Been a while since I've hit you guys with the video. Wanted to get something recorded and uploaded. It is currently 12 in the morning here in Honolulu. I should be asleep, but granted, I'm not incredibly tired right now. I know I look pretty messy. That's just unwinding after work. But we are placing in first position. Um, Hopefully my fan is not too loud. I apologize. This room that I'm in, I do eventually want to make adjustments, but there's no airflow, no windows. It's literally just a fan. So without that fan, I would literally burn to death. It's Hawaii weather after all. Granted, we have 60 seconds to place our first settlement. And we have a lot of options. I think traditionally speaking, you take 649 in first, just because it's great wheat and I don't think we really need to think too much about that. It is the only good wheat spot on the board that we can effectively own. So I'll go ahead and place that. Hope you guys have or have had a great weekend. For by the time this gets uploaded, it'll probably be Monday for most of y'all. But yeah, here we are, just playing another game. So I don't like placing first generally. I prefer playing third and fourth, but auto ranks can be a different beast. You generally don't have too much table communication, deal making, trades, that kind of thing. So the social aspect, social piece of the game matters quite significantly less. Now, granted, what we're going to be doing this game is with 694. It's kind of a given, being that the wheat hexes are pretty rare. Now, somebody, of course, could always do 6-2 or 6-3, but if someone were to take something like that, what it allows us to do as the player in first position is to have a better out. You know what I'm saying? Like a better expansion spot. So with that being said, I think these picks that have been placed so far are very standard, very normal. Nothing out of the ordinary that I've seen yet. This one's a little bit of an oddball, going straight to the center. The reason being is I really doubt that these two hexes are going to be open and available, because in red's position, I actually don't mind 11-3, or excuse me, 10-11-9 here. They might not take it, but granted, they need wheat, and wheat is not the easiest thing to come by on this board. What would blue take? I mean, blue could reasonably take 8-4-3. Main issue with it is you're doubling on sheeps, but he probably feels like he can get the sheep board. And funnily enough, with the way that that was placed out, there is a decent chance, I feel like, that we get left with an 8-4-3. But even if we don't, we get a good old coordinated 6 or 6 wheat here. Now, granted, that is not the easiest setup to play. You live or die based on the 6 roll. But because the 6 has a decent chance of being triple shared, yeah, it's playable. Now, granted, if 8-4-3 is left open by red, we will be taking that instead. I would say a lot of players might just play 6-12-11 because you get the 3-1 and you get a city basically off of 6. Um, Main issue I have with that, yeah, okay, he doesn't even make it up for discussion. So maybe black's a little bit smarter than I thought, because they accurately predicted that to be open. Now, granted, having that open and available to them is pretty scary, specifically because when red performs the road settlement action here, that's going to get this 6 pinned quite a bit. Of course, we do have to contest this 3-1 by blue, unfortunately. I'm not too sure why they didn't opt. Well, actually, I do know why they didn't opt to do that, but we have options. We could go 12-9. It's really slow, or excuse me, 10-9. It's very slow though, but it gives us a port to start, gives us decent resources. The issue with 6-12-11, I feel like our numbers are going to stall off pretty quickly. Whereas with the 10-9, I mean, maybe we expand to 9-12. We have a little bit of a game there. I think it can be quite rough, but maybe the idea or the concept is that we get this to be pushed. I really don't like taking 6-12-11 here, and if I can briefly explain the reason why I don't, other than the number diversity, it's because we will have a inferior setup to red after they perform the road settle on the 9-10 and the 6-3. So I think that taking 9-10 here makes sense for my game. It's a bit of a defensive placement, absolutely, but we're going to have to play into our outs. Now, granted, we roll the first 7 of the game. We kind of hurt red a little bit there. So even though they do have a brick to start with, I think what we do instead is actually hit black. And for that reason, we are going to be going here and grabbing that card. Now, of course, we pulled the worst card that we could have out of black's hand. We would have preferred one of the other two, but that's okay. We're slowing down the brick production for black, specifically because they have a lot of open space. Now, again, that does suck for red that we did that. But again, I think that the 10-9, it gives us all 5 resources with the 3-1, because I would think honestly that if we took 6, 11, 12, I don't think we ever beat blue to the 11-4, and I think the 12 is just not a great expansion spot for us. Now, granted, where do we go with our first road settlement? You have a couple of options. I think probably we go for the 6-2 first, just to get our initial production up. We could go to the 9-2 or the 9-12, but really my priority presently is to try to slow down black as quickly as I can. Black's main obstacle in this game is going to be a port, but granted, once they get the settle here, they're going to have double wheat, double ore, and all 5 resources with double brick. And they have a road connect, and they have 2-3 hexes available. So based on that structure, I think black is leading, because blue's game is really dependent on getting to the port. So their early game is going to be very slow. Red's game got a little bit fumbled up by what I did here. I'm hoping they don't hold hard feelings. I'm definitely not going to contest them for this 6-3. But granted, this ore trade's not bad, by the way. It would give us a pop, but my priority is getting the settlement down first. I want to double up on this wheat, because the wheat will be very tradable with someone like black or red, for example, or even blue if the 10s kind of dry up. Now, of course, we will take the settlement as a priority, but I want to clarify that if our hand is stuck and we don't have an opportunity to perform the settlement, that we would probably then buy the development card, even though I think again, our first priority should be getting the settlement down. Because what will eventually happen later on in the game is we will be dropping the city here, which with Brickport turns the 9 into a free card. 9-2 will be a really quick and easy road settle spot. We'd go to 9-12 then next, and then kind of just play development cards from there is the main concept or main idea. Unfortunately, we don't have that. Now, we could obviously counter, but seems like they're looking for that specifically, which we cannot generate for them. Which is why, again, with our first 7 roll, pinning this 5 is exceptionally important. So, unfortunately, our hand is a little stuck here. I am going to try to grab a sheep for ore trade, and the reason why is that makes our hand a little bit more flexible than it would. Okay, we get a no, which is fine. We'll just buy a knight and pass. We don't want to pass on 7, and our hand is not stuck. Now, granted, 2 6s did roll. I'm never giving him the 1-to-1 city trade here, but what I might be willing to do is a 2-to-1 trade. No. Shit. Maybe, I mean, I could have done the wood for ore, but it's not a great trade for us. The wood is not very common for us to get. Now, if black does not drop a city, they have exceptionally easy, an easy chance for us to pull an ore with a knight. So we probably want to trade, we don't want to trade them on their turn to give them a city, but their hand is flooded with ores right now, which, granted, we can do an aggressive knight is what I'm saying. Now, he rolls a 7, and he's definitely going to be robbing us for a sheep or a wheat to try to get a city or a dev. But when we play the knight, there's a decent chance we pull the ore, we hit the 5, and then we get a dev card again ourselves. So that's fine. Unfortunately, he pulls the wood, which is actually, it's bad for us, but it's good in the sense that his hand is going to be stuck after that. So he was gunning for the wheat, 50-50. He unfortunately failed. He pulled the wood. And now what we're hoping for is pulling the, I think, 3 or 4 ore out of 7 cards in black's hand and repinning the 5, which removes his ability to perform a settlement. Because again, our priority here is we're not looking at red until they get the settle down here and maybe some shenanigans there. Blue is going to be very slow unless they get a lucky dev. Black is smart and actually ports down, which unfortunately, I believe forces me to rob red instead here for that better chance of an ore. Yeah. That was a smart move by Black. I don't know if that was intentional, but by porting that down, they knew that I would have to rob Red instead for that chance of an ore. So given I don't think red is leading, I had to do that to make my hand actionable. In a given actual game, you would probably try to talk that out there. But the pin is always the 5 for me. The reason being is that makes the brick exceptionally rare when in this current board state, what we're looking at is, again, slowing down these settlements. These settlements are going to be vital for black in picking up their production, where our current weakness is the amount of production we produce. Therefore, we have to, damn it, black rolls another 7. We are going to be getting pulled here more than likely. But what I'm trying to, oh, he's gunning for that brick. That makes sense. What I'm trying to say, though, is our weakness is production. So the second that black gets that settlement, he was fishing for the brick and failed. Now, granted, we could fish for the brick ourselves, but black is getting very close to the settlement. So we pin the 5 again, and I think we hit black, even though it's more than likely a dead card for us. It'll probably be a wood or a sheep. Red really wants that 3-1 to perform that settlement, but he paid for ore for a wheat earlier. So I don't think that's going to be pushing through. So yeah, we're going to try to slow down black again. Now, granted, again, the card in red's hand is a lot better, and that sheep sucks for us. But we're just going to buy another dev. You know, we're not too concerned. Unfortunately, we'll pull a VP there, not what we want. But red is going to be probably gunning for a 2-1 trade here, I think. And there is, I don't think black parts with the wheat though. That wheat is very expensive. They're probably going to counter sheep wood for brick or wood for brick is my guess. But red's not looking for that either. They need to get the wheat. So red doesn't have a wheat and black doesn't have a brick, and they're not going to be able to come to a conclusive trade here, I think. Yeah, not between black and red, but rather with blue. And a 3-1 does get pushed. Ooh, okay. This is not a bad trade by any means. What it does, though, is it gives them the settlement, which means our 6 becomes a block target. I'm going to counter and be greedy. Yeah, I understand that. He had settle with 4-1. It doesn't make sense to give me 3 cards there. The 2-1 was not a bad deal, but our hand is presently stuck, right? And again, realistically, we're not looking to pop this many dev cards. Playing the army will put us in a unnecessary lead. We really want to get the 6-2 down, especially after red performed this settlement, which takes me back to what I said at the beginning of the game. What is our advantage over red had they placed here and here? And we play 6, 11, 12. I'm going to snap on this 1-1 before anybody else can, because that gives us the settlement. It does give the settlement to black, but again, we need to make a move now that red has performed a settlement. So, yeah, we do see a city rather than a settle, which is fine. Again, the idea there by giving the point to black is that we have to get our point down, and we hopefully try to split these blocks. What I'm trying to accomplish here is for blue, once they settle, they probably have to play devs, and hopefully they pin this 6 as opposed to R6. But it's hit or miss, you know, it's a little interchangeable. Pros and cons here to doing a road settle to 9-2. I think I snap on this deal. The brick is effectively a card, but it's a 2-1, right? And I think blue definitely needs to get that settle on the sheep port. Now, it doesn't give us an actionable hand, but the ore is not very easy for us to come by. So we do see a lot of 8s, which kind of sucks, but it's okay. We do see an 8 into a 3, though. Ugh, we don't like seeing that combo. Our hand's a little stuck. We're going to hold there. We could have tried to trade something around, but probably a knight here coming by red, trying to decide where to block. No, okay. We do see a 10. I'm trying to evaluate the pros and cons of 9-2 versus 9-12, given the extra wheat's probably going to be more relevant and the free brick on the 9. My concern is that the 9 here becomes a prime block target after black performs a settlement. I'll probably do the 1-1 here if he wants to swing that, but I'm definitely not doing a 2-1 on your own turn. I think that's a little generous. It could possibly be a road builder, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, the robber's pinned on the 5. If anything, I do think this is road builder to 6, 11, 12. But I don't know if he picked up... I think he did. I think that is road builder 6, 11, 12. Okay, no, it's not. It's definitely a non-knight, though. There's no reason to not move it. But because he drops the road there, I'm hoping it's VP. Um, Granted, he's probably trying to fight longest road in this game, which is okay. We are on 8 cards here. Now, we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we get stuck and are unable to city, because low production early army is a really bad position to be in, generally speaking. We can roll into a city on a 4 or on a 10, but we don't trade any of those cards away presently. 9, 10, or 4 will give us a city, which is not bad. We have a couple of rolls to get in there. Hopefully we don't roll a 7. Now, granted, this city, when blue builds it, it's going to be pretty strong because they can connect for a very easy road length. So blue is now pacing pretty well. I would probably do a wheat for ore flat out, and the reason why is black doesn't have a dev, and if we roll a 7, kind of just hoping that we don't do that, but yeah, I'm cool with giving black that there. We need to get a city this turn. Really hoping we don't roll a 7. Shit. I think I take it because... Fuck, I should have taken it. Damn it, that was a mistake. Because if I roll 7, I lose my city. I hate this game sometimes, but it's alright. I should have taken that 1-1. It doesn't make sense there, I think. I could keep the double, or the... That really, really sucks. That really, really sucks. And I don't know if their last card is another ore, and I don't think it is. Oh, man. I think it's red, though. I think red has the ore in hand. I hate doing that, too. Damn it. I think we just have to take another dev, unfortunately. That was a really bad sequence for us. And I'm actually going to empty my hand and take another one. And I pulled 2 knights. Oh, gosh. We really, really, really needed to get a city that turn. And I think even though it would have given black a cheaper dev card, that taking the 1-1 was required. So he's going to yop for the city, which makes sense. But yeah, our production is so far behind now compared to blue and black. And pulling 2 knights into VP looks good on paper because we're a point leader. It's really not, because now we have no cards and very limited production to try to fight this game. And now they're going to suspect me as lead because I have 3 down development cards. So this game is going to get a little rough for us, I think. But we're going to have to try to fight it. The only advantage I presently have now is temporary robber control, which we're going to have to play into that. Because when people see point lead like this, they're going to hit me, even though my production is absolutely dog. And I think we misplayed that couple of sequences pretty poorly with the trades we distributed. But that's why we're doing this live, so you guys can learn and see like my reactions to these types of plays. Red is going for road, which is fine because nobody can really fight me on army anymore. We have 4 knights, right? Which means that the dev deck is not hot, but it is up for grabs, considering we've only seen a year of plenty in play. Blue has never had to play their dev, so we don't know if it's a knight or not, but we can kind of get context clues based on the actions performed. They opt to build a road, which, okay, they opt to do double road, so we can kind of, I mean, that's a really good expansion spot for them. But yeah, I mean, blue's going to go a little bit under the radar, depending on how these 8s and 10s roll, if they get the second city here. But it's going to be rough for us without some 6 action. We really need to get that city down. But we keep rolling into 5s and 3s, so not looking great. I think I pass here, but my concern is rolling into a sequence of 9 plus 6, which I guess it's a given that I have to drop this this road eventually. But, you know, I think I have to go for the effectiveness of this later in the game. So I'm going to try to go for that instead. Yeah, see, this was what I was concerned about, was rolling into like something like 9 plus 6 and then a 7 out. Because I'm cool with red connecting for longest road. I don't have a problem with that, because if anything, I think red is safest with longest road. They don't have a port, thanks to, of course, us, and they don't have wheat production. So if I look at this board and I want to evaluate who I feel like is safest with longest road, I easily say that it's red. And again, the reason being is black makes the most ore plus wheat. Blue has insane production value and can technically play both conditions of devs and road with the flexibility after they perform a settlement or there. I'm not going to try to table talk too much. But they see my position as very scary, which, I mean, whatever. I'm not giving you the 1-to-1. Oh my god, if black's taking it, I have to. I don't want to give him a 1-to-1 settlement trade, but black just really wants to give him a 3-hex here, which I think is a mistake. Okay, never mind, he's short. He didn't have the wheat in hand. I really need to get the city. And again, that's a huge mistake because now I'm put in a position where I'm almost forced to have to try to pull a good dev. And these 5s are just popping off, man. Oh, unfortunately, I actually really want to rob blue here for a wood because that gives us decent outs to roll into settle. But I don't know, man. I think I probably hit the 10, I think. And again, it's very strange, but black's also over, so I don't want to rob them. Decent chance they 7. I'm going to try to snag that wood. Okay, maybe we roll into a settle here. Maybe. There you go. I'm going to try to see if I can get into a settled dev. Probably not. I don't think the table is going to be helping me with that. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'll just take my settlement. I mean, the sucky part with that, though, is that if blue plays a knight, I can't bluff anymore. Because, yeah, we can get a settlement on 9-12. But realistically, I need to get a city. And it's not impossible, because now we have the 9 roll, which is an effective free card. But I always tell people that you don't ever want to be in this position where you're on 5, 6, 7 points without a city. Once you're past 5 points without a single city on the board, unless you get very lucky with a monopoly or in instances occasionally a year of plenty. See, what happens here is we get pinned on this 6 and then we get vocalized as point leader, which is fair that we are point leader, but I want to point out to you guys as viewers that point leader does not necessarily mean leading. I would not even consider my position to be first right now. I would grant that to blue. Reason being, blue builds 2 roads for 7, and they produce double the cards that we do. Now, black drops a 2-point play, which is pretty massive, but black's issue here is that they cannot get road or army, so they're going to have to build these last 4 points. So regardless of that, I personally still put blue as leader, which again sounds very weird on paper, because the rob's going to go to 9 brick by red, and we're just going to get tossed around. And again, this is the issue with building so many settlements. And the same thing applies for longest road versus if I had largest army. You build too many settlements and you stall out because you don't have the necessary production with a city to close out the game, which is why if we go back halfway, 10 minutes ago, we really, really, really needed to get that city down. So hopefully now, though, red is defined as leader because they have a victory point down. But again, we need to get the city. Our other point's going to come from a road settle, and then that last point is going to be a little tricky. But that is where I'm at presently. I can never trade my brick here, especially not when it's pinned on the 9. We have a 6 roll into a city now, or a 2 roll, which is not terrible odds. Probably doesn't happen this orbit, but black or red is on 8, so they could swing it. I mean, they have to get a city and another city or a VP, but the dev deck has VPs in it, right? There's at least 3 VPs down there. I'm just going to throw that comment out there. Yep, and they just roll 5 into 3 into 4. That's going to be 9 points. We need to give blue road here, or this game closes out very quickly. What the hell, dude? Oh my god. And then he's going to ask for longest road after building the city. Well, it's not coming cheap now. Why do you want red to be on 6 cards, 9 points, with 3 dice rolls? And he's offering that for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You need 3 roads. 2, 3. Okay, how do I do this? Okay, he has it. That's an important takeaway because red can perform a city or AV people if that doesn't happen. Now, granted, we are making blue exceptionally strong, but we're going to have to keep swinging road back and forth for us to have a chance. If we had a city earlier, I do think this game could have been very easy for us, but now we need to bank on a 6 roll, which I believe we'll have to check after, have not been fair. Yeah, and then here we go, the BTTs. Again, black is pacing hard, and we can't roll a goddamn 6 to save our life. I really don't want to pull here because it's going to be another night. Again, we needed to get a city, but it's just not happening. Black accepts. I think what I have to do here is just port down and hold because we know there's no monos in play, but the odds of us pulling and getting another knight would be so disastrous for us. I'm just trying to drop my hand size so that if we hopefully roll into a 6, yeah, see these rolls, man. 4, 4. We got to look at this after. We really need to hit a couple of 6s here, or like a 6 and a 2. We haven't hit a 2 yet. But, yeah, we need to get a double city and a road settle is really what we're looking at to close out the game. And depending on what the dev pulled here is, I can give you a sheep for any card. I don't want the sheep at this point. Yeah, the wood is a dead card, but so is the sheep, because we're not pulling any more devs. We're closing this game out, if we can, with city, city, road, settle, and we'll only pull if we have to, because the odds of a knight are just so high at this point. It's red as a confirmed non. We've already played a yop. We have a VP in hand. Yeah, and then fucking blue pulls there, which means they can just city now if they got lucky and pulled a VP. Oh man, this really sucks. Everybody's effectively not okay. Okay. That sucks that I traded the sheep there. That really sucks that I traded the sheep there. I mean, not that we could win with it, but I'm gonna try to trade here. Maybe blue accepts, red accepts. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna take it. I think I just take it. And the reason why is yeah, the reason why is I don't have a window. So now I need to pray that the devs are not favorable and that we can perform a road settle or a city. And this sequence should have happened 20 minutes ago. Red probably just pulled a second non-knight and builds one road. Oh, okay. We have a game. We have a game. We have a game. Because if blue did not pull a VP or a monopoly, we have outs. Because red has to perform a road and a settle, or pull us a VP there. Not great odds. Not great odds. They should build a road if they can. Oh, come on. Oh. Yeah. If blue pulled anything, oh my god, and they rolled 7. Ooh. And they didn't play knight. And they didn't play knight. It's oh, they could have 7'd out of a win there. Well, actually, no, probably not direct win because they need road settle. But they could have built a city with like a 10 or a 6 or an 11, if I'm not mistaken, because they rolled an 8, which is 2 free cards. Okay, we're not out of this game, actually, guys. We need to last one more rotation, or we need to get very lucky and roll a 9 into a 4. That is our winning sequence. 9 into 4 is our winning sequence. Yeah, and the thing is we can't help him extend anymore. Yeah, he has to force extend. Because the thing is, red can win with a row builder, which is unfortunate, because if they pulled 2 devs there, it's highly unlikely. Yeah, shit. And if black pulls mono here, this game could get interesting. Oh, I was going to try to talk him out of that, because that was a losing play, I think. That was a losing play. I mean, it gave us a win on a 9 or a 4. But let's see. He's going to try to pull for the win. It's his best play. It just sucks for us. I was going to try to see if I could work something out. But, yeah. Dev deck is dry. And we are confirmed not winning here. Very high odds that red has win in hand. And we just have to try to survive. Hopefully they roll 7 or something drastic. Nope, that should be game. They build 2 roads. Or play something like RB and settle. Road builder settle. Or mono. Or yop to take road and settle. Nobody's trading you here. Nobody should be trading you here. Okay. If blue did not pull, I mean, no, we know blue has a non-knight, right? They need to city or they need to road settle. I think they have it. Maybe not in hand, but with any dice roll. And they have a lot of numbers. Yeah, I don't know why red just keeps pulling, man. The dev deck is not favorable here. Oh, red. All you needed to do was drop roads and settle, man. Blue cannot hold road without help. I don't understand why you're trying to pop when army is effectively locked. It's not locked per se. Blue wins here, I believe. It's not locked per se, but you just don't have the time for it. Like, there's no reason. You need to take these points off blue. The fact that I would have to guess blue has a VP. But with 8 cards, they either need a road settle or they need a city. Pulling here is not good odds for a VP. Granted, again, black's on 9. But they need to get a road settle, or they have to pull the last VP in the deck. So even though black is on 9, their odds are not high here, in my opinion. We have a sequence to win yet again, which is 9 plus 6 or 4 plus 6. But it's not great odds. Now, people would assume black is winning with 7 cards and a down dev. Unless that dev is a mono or a road builder, though, they are not looking clean. And even if it is, again, they have to perform a triple road settle with only or port, or they have to pull probably the last VP in the deck. Or what the hell am I talking about? Probably one of the last VPs in the deck. But it's a knight, and blue performs a rob there. Okay, so if black does not have it here, let's see if they pulled double monopoly. Nope, they pulled road builder. They need a settle. Do they have it? I think they do, with or port, right? They poured it down. They poured it down. That's GG. They have to port it down. They have 8 cards. I'm not tracking. Yeah, fuck. Okay. Well, that was Black's only way to win there, was pulling a road builder. Because even with a monopoly, I don't think they have a monopoly that gives them the road builder settle. Now, where I think we screwed up, again, we've already talked about it for longer than the game actually lasted. That sequence there, we should have given the 1/1 to Black, even though it gives them a dev for cheaper. It avoids the 7 out, completely ruining our hand and forcing us to double pop as opposed to getting that city. This game was very easily winnable, and those 2 turns that we made as a result are why we lost that game. But I quickly evaluated that, and this was a good game. I enjoyed it. Now, again, the only sequence here that Black wins is if that down dev is road builder, because if it's Monopoly, they don't have anything that they can pull there to perform a double road settle. I think Red made the mistake of over popping, because granted, even though they pulled 2 VPs, all Red needs to do is perform a road, a settlement, and extend the road, because there's no reality where Blue holds the road without help. And, you know, that sounds kind of weird to say, but Blue has to port down into these roads. And I feel like in the position of Red, the dev cards are just not it, because there's so many knights left in the deck that you're just banking on pulling a Monopoly card, which is not great to happen. Now, of course, we did have a lot of sequences where we could have won this game, like I was talking about 9-4-6. If we look at dice stats, statistically, the 4 and the 3 and the well, I mean the 6 overrolled, but the 4 and the 3 incredibly overrolled, which played into the favor, obviously, of everybody but us. The 4 was not bad, granted, but yeah, it's a little difficult. Again, I think we misplayed. I would have taken the exact same setup that I did, but hopefully you guys learned something. I just wanted to provide like a little bit of a competitive context to this game, because I think this was enjoyable even as a live experience. But like I said, if you guys enjoyed, do let me know. Tough game. Again, those 2 turns in that early mid-game stage, just we completely fumbled it. And of course we 7'd. But you can't blame the dice, right? That was an easily avoidable thing by giving the 1/1, which let us keep the city in hand. Black had the dev anyway. It just leaves them with 3 ore in their hand. It was just a play we had to make that we didn't add action on. So we got greedy, punished us, but I still had fun. Hopefully you guys did too. Have a great day.